Hey guys, so what you're looking at here is all the smog parts you need to get your smog to pass in California. The only thing that's missing here is the smog pump, okay? So what I want to share with you guys is individual parts that you will need, and we'll go through it really quick. Now, let me pen up here. So first of all, if you have these parts in your truck and you have a California truck and you're trying to pass smog, well, this video isn't really for you because I'm sure you already have all these parts. This video is for somebody who maybe bought a truck outside the state, who maybe deleted their smog, like in my 83 FJ60, and now I'm having to figure out all the pieces that I need to put in my truck so that it can pass smog. Okay, so what I found to be the best deal is, now I've looked everywhere on the website around the country and even Japan to find these parts, and to find these parts from a dealer or whatever is extremely difficult, except for a company in California in Bakersfield area, a place called Spectre Off-Road. You can buy pretty much all these parts here. Now the bad thing about that is that each one of these parts are sold separately, like those bolts. So for example, this Egr pipe has roughly 20 bolts and nuts and screws and washers that go with it. Well, you got to go buy each individual bolt, nuts, washers, everything separately. So if you look at this Egr pipe, even though it looks like a one unit, it's really not. It's made up of maybe 5 to 6 different pieces to make up the whole Egr section. So Spectre Off-Road or SOR.com, you can buy all of that, but you're going to pay a ton of money. So let me just give you an example. I bought this whole thing, okay, for under $325. So if you just be patient and look, and I'm going to tell you in a minute where to look, because I think it'll make sense. So the second place you guys can look that's really good resource here is also in Northern California, a company called Valley Hybrids, or the Hybrid Brother, or what are they called? The Cruiser Brothers. George at Cruiser Brothers. I'm sure they will have most of these parts, so you guys can call them. Again, Valley Hybrids in Stockton, and those guys are fantastic, and they will be a fraction of what everybody else may charge you. The third option, what I found to be the most beneficial, because I can get everything and shipped, because I do live a little over an hour away from Stockton, so that's why I don't go down there. But I bought all these parts, okay, on eBay, and this is what's great about what I've seen so far on eBay. So I don't know where these things come from a salvage yard, and they're just parting it out, or somebody who's deleting the Egr and selling it. But what I found to be really great about eBay is that they take these sections of this emission parts and just cut it out and and give it to you, the whole thing in one piece. So let me give you an example. Okay, so let's take a look at this air injection system here. So this is made up of so many parts. So if you were to go to Spectre Off-Road and buy each of these pieces individually, which you have to do, it'll probably cost you over 500 bucks easily. But when you buy it on eBay, this is great, because I think what it looks like is they just take this whole piece, which has the mounting brackets that fits on the fender well, and they just cut the vacuum lines. And it has all the filters, all the electrical pieces, and these are super expensive, and number two, it's hard to find. So it's got everything you need. So I've already looked at this carefully, looked at my truck and how it all fits together, and this is what I found to be true on eBay, is that it comes with everything you need for this air injection system. Okay, so that makes it super easy. Number two is that this air injector rail system right here was, again, under 100 bucks. Then the only thing that you need to buy are these ports, which you can pick up at Valley Hybrids, and these were, gosh, $5 each. If you go to Spectre Off-Road, they are $45 each, and you'll need 6 of them for this 2F motor. Now this guy here is, it's like a highway of these tubing where all your vacuum lines connect. So this sits right on top of your valve cover area, and this is, and of course it'll all feed into here somehow, right? So I haven't figured all that out yet, but I will eventually. And again, this EGR comes in so many pieces. So this is why eBay is so great, because you can buy all these parts. Basically all 4 of these different parts for way less than, let's say, Spectre Off-Road. But if you can't find it, Spectre Off-Road is the place to go to get those individual small pieces, okay? Now, lastly, you're going to need emission book. And so far, the only place I found the company who have this book is Spectre Off-Road. So SOR.com has the emission book, and we'll go through this real quick here in just a few minutes. Okay, so my point is, you guys go check out eBay, and if you can't find it right away, I would just be patient. There are a lot of parts where I've been looking for have sold, or someone outbid me or whatever, but you know, wait a week or 2 and it'll be there again. So basically, if you guys need to know what part needs to go on your truck for emissions, think of it as these 4 parts right here, actually 5. The smog pump is not in the picture, but you'll need the smog pump, and that's, last time I looked today, was under 60 bucks for the smog pump. So you need this rail injection system, you'll need the EGR system right there, and this vacuum line tube that mounts on top of the valve cover where all these vacuum lines will come together, okay? And this book is a great resource on how to, kind of put it together and troubleshoot and whatnot. But what I'm doing is I've got several friends on my social media, FJ60 forum, Land Cruiser forum, where I'm going to go down and meet these guys with their truck that have these same parts and smog passed already. I'm going to use their truck as a blueprint, if you will, and then I'm going to park my truck next to their truck, and we're going to basically, you know, piece it together so that for hose for hose and par for par, make sure everything fits correctly. So that's my main focus here, is get all this part on my truck and make sure it fits correctly. Now, whether it passes smog or not, that would be a whole different question, but I just want to make sure, you know, I got all the parts and they all fit the way his truck, you know, looks, for example. So, and I think it's important also to, if you're going that route like I'm doing, is find somebody who's got the exact same year and use that as a blueprint, and hopefully there's somebody nearby that you can, you know, correspond with. Okay, so with that said, let's take a look at what's inside the mission book, so and see if that will be helpful for you. Okay, so this is particularly for a 2F motor and 81. The guy, they did say that this is good through 85 when I talked to him on over the phone. So basically, we're just going to look at this emission control system, but it does have some troubleshooting steps and engine adjustments and other specs that might be helpful for you guys. So this book is extremely detailed. In fact, a lot of the things that as I'm going through this, I don't quite understand. There are a lot of troubleshooting guides on here that I don't quite understand. This is just so foreign to me, but I think it's a good read. And if you guys can do this yourself, which is basically plug and play, if you have another truck similar where you can use as a blueprint, and then maybe take it to an emission specialist to get it smogged. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So what I want to show you is a couple pictures here. So this is the schematic of, do you remember this guy right here? So this right here is what you're looking at right here. These are all the vacuum lines, how it all plugs in. So this just kind of helps you, one, get in one place and get all the vacuum lines plugged in correctly. This just gives me a headache. I don't know what all that is. Okay, so this is again the FJ40 and the 60. So it works for both, all 2F motors basically for that year. And then also talks about your EGR system right here. So these are quite a bit expensive if you go to Spectre Off-Road. You're looking at several $100s just for like one of these pieces. Another $100 for that, another $100 for that. It just adds up really quick if you go to Spectre, but they have it. So there you go. Okay, and then it has some how to maintain, how to troubleshoot, all that. Okay, and then this here talks about the air injection system, which is right over there. And it kind of tells you where the vacuum lines will feed into. And the hard part about this schematic here is there's so many of these vacuum lines, it's hard to tell which one it plugs into. Because if you look at this schematic, this thing right here, it sits right here, but they don't show you the whole picture. They only show you where the line goes in and comes out. So it's very confusing, okay? But it is a good read before you go to bed. Yep, so here's more air injection system. And I think there's one more page here I wanted to show you guys. Oh yeah, so this is your HAI, your hot air intake. So this also is required in California. This is what this is. So this is basically a aluminum or steel, maybe aluminum. I think it's steel. I'm not sure what, no, actually it's aluminum. That mounts to your exhaust manifold. Then you got this hot air tube that comes off of there, and that goes into your air intake on your filter. So this is critical, and this just helps, to get your engine temperature up to the operating temperature as fast as you can. So you gotta have this to pass smog in California. And this is very difficult to find. And in fact, I had this sitting around for some time in a box unopened until today. They actually sent me the wrong part. This does not fit on my 2F motor. So I see a 3F here. Maybe it goes on a 3F. I don't know. But I got to return that back to SOR. And that was like 135 bucks. Alright guys, so with that said, if you guys have any questions about smog parts and where to buy it and things like that, let me know. Shoot me up on my social media account. You can find me on Facebook or my Instagram, FJ60 Wagon Family. But as far as how all this functions and the mechanics and the details, I'm not the expert, but I will figure it out. So if this helped you guys out, that's awesome. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, make sure you guys give me a thumbs up. That'd be really cool. And if you want to see this project progress, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel so you can see one, how this is all put together. I will do my best to document this best I can. It's really tough because my truck is way up there, and it's hard to have a camera down into the engine area and and also wrench at the same time. So, but I'll keep you guys updated on my social media and YouTube when I can. All right. So I would love to hear guys' comments on your experience with this particular smogging process and getting all the parts together. So again, I'm Brian with FJ60 Wagon Family. I will see you guys on the trail very soon.